meet people at events for Women for Peace and Wealth, I always feel like I already know you all, because I've been seeing your names throughout the archives that I've been working on for the last year. And I also have been worked before that on Alice's memoirs, and so I know so many of your names, and it's just wonderful to see your faces and feel what you're like a little bit in person, because you can't get everything from papers, but I've tried to understand as much as I could. I met Hazel when I came to California and started working on the Missouri campaign, and Saul, the person that I was working with in his office, the Coalition for a Safe Bay, told me about that I should pay very close attention to Women for Peace, because he said these women are the most important thing that's happened in the peace movement in the Bay Area. And over the years since then, I've become a believer in that statement. In fact, when I was out here going to college, I remember coming up to San Francisco to one of the big marches, and I don't remember which one it was, but it was enormous. And I was suffering at the time over the fact that all of the leaders of the peace movement at Stanford were very male and didn't have a lot of use for women other than making coffee. And if I had known at the time that these two ladies had as much as they did to do with putting together those marches, I think I would have felt a lot different, a lot sooner about my own activism. It's been a tremendous help to me to see what women can do and have done in this area. I was upset about one of the books that I was looking at to verify dates, because it claimed to be a history of the peace movement, and it really didn't do justice to the Women for Peace and WILP story. It was there were intricate details about groups that started by professors at Berkeley that lasted for a year and a half and did wonderful things in a year and a half. But there wasn't the attention to the fact that you folks started before the war. You were already rolling with the campaign to end above ground testing, and then continued without even missing a beat to go through the entire war. And not only that, but continued to go on and on and on. I just wanted to read one piece, a couple of sentences that Hazel wrote in her farewell to working on the newsletter. This woman did the most amazing newsletter coordinating job and wrote many wonderful articles, which I have enjoyed reading. But in 1983, and this is before I arrived to work on the Missouri campaign, she wrote, "We have very reluctantly taken the step of discontinuing our San Francisco Women for Peace newsletter, and we will sadly file away our February-March issue. So much devotion, hard work, and struggle for peace is contained in the file drawer containing our newsletter. It seems to us that we are filing away the most precious part of our history, from our early fight for nuclear disarmament in the early 60s, through the long and trying years of the Vietnam War, to our present movement against today's U.S. nuclear buildup and against U.S. intervention in Central America." This is in April 1983. "We feel that it is a good thing to remember and treasure our past, because it contains a wealth of experience which can be of immense value to today's and future peace workers. But we cannot live in the past. To continue our fight for peace, we must make a realistic analysis of our capabilities and take the necessary steps so that we can function efficiently in our peace work." Far from being a farewell, this was just taking the necessary steps, because when I got here in 1986, there was Hazel at the coalition table working on the Coalition for a Safe Bay. And she was always there. She always had the most incredible passion about what was going on. And she was an incredible personal support to me. I still have the sheets and pillowcases that Hazel gave me because I had come from New York. I had been traveling around with my show. I really didn't have anything to, to set up housekeeping with, and didn't really want to stop and get a job to do that because I was already working much too hard on the Missouri campaign. And Hazel gave me these wonderful sheets that I have treasured ever since. She had a human way of supporting the movement in addition to all of the incredible work that she did in the intellectual side. I mean, this woman had the most incredibly clear and trenchant position on every issue that ever came up in any topic that I've discussed with her. And I've had a chance to see it through looking, doing all the archives, putting all the papers in order, and then doing the chronology, which I hope you'll look at. There is a chronology that I took from the newsletters. She was able to really open my eyes to so many different issues. It was really a wonderful experience working on this project, and I am sure that it will provide inspiration for activists for years and years to come. There is a collection in Swarthmore, but there's also a collection in the Bancroft Library that I think is going to be a real treasure trove. So it's good to meet you, and I'm glad I had a chance to be here.